Man, what's happening? Good evening. Good evening. Minute late, sorry. Minute late, sorry. Had to eat some dinner, but I'm here. Bravo is here. Good evening. Tuesday night with the Browster. Don't know what else is going on tonight, but Bravo is here. And I'm glad to be here tonight because this indicates it's another year of football. Youth football, high school football, college football, and NFL. So the Redskins playing last night. Commanders, Redskins. Um, whatever fancies you. But yeah, and even though they took the elbow preseason, it only counts if you win. That's my motto. It only matters to the winner. It only matters to the winner. So what's going on, Donald Lucas? Good evening. How you doing? So y'all had a ball. So y'all had a ball down there, Virginia Beach EF Classic, and um, yeah, Bravo was doing the honey. I shrunk the kids, heavy lifting, if you will. But guess what, man? At the end of the day, I gotta always keep home team happy first. Even if it's against my it ain't gonna never be against my better judgment, even against what I want to do. So but one thing about it, I will be popping out to them fields come this fall. But thank y'all for coming on the Tuesday night. And I hope y'all had a glorious week, glorious weekend. A lot of good football this past week. I didn't get to talk about. I didn't get to see it. But I didn't get to see it firsthand. But thanks to Donald Lucas, Lou Lucas, Terrell Eberhardt, and definitely Samson the bad guy. Um, it was brought to me in the privacy and comfort of my home. So I always got to thank those guys, man. I always got to shout out those guys, man, when they bring it, man. Let me tell you something, man, about live streaming the game, man. You know, the, the and you can take it however you want to. The hardest games to live stream are games that don't got no action. If a game is full of action, it hypes you up. I don't care what team it is, I don't care who you are. Let me tell you something. If the game don't have no action, don't nobody want to sit there. And it's just like the NFL. That's why people buy the NFL pack. Because soon as start looking dull, click it. You see what I'm saying? Or you fall asleep or whatnot. And that could even be for your team. So think about that, man. Thank those guys, man, because it is a tough and difficult thing to do. And I'm going to tell you why how I know, because I do it. And when you can tell when I get bored or tired, because at the end of the day, um, the production, the quality of production diminishes. So we got about one more minute, and although I'm late, I'm still, the witching hour still gonna be 9:05. But I hope you all had a great weekend doing what you do. Um, Man, Prince William County schools opened back up yesterday. Yesterday, thank you, thank you. For no other reason, man. Let me tell you something, man. The kids need to be in school. The kids need to be in school. They need to be active. They need to be focused on their future, man. We're gonna talk about it a little bit, but they need to shout out to Kevin Brewster, shout out to y'all 12U. I'm gonna call y'all the money team because y'all was about money this weekend. And if Joker would have bet against you, they would have lost a lot of money. And if they would have bet with you, might would have been able to buy a new ranch. So shout out to that 12U. It's a collaboration of the Cavalry and the Mount Boys from out of Roanoke. And how that works, it's none of my business. Let me tell you something. The magic that happens in your household is none of my business. I just want to see the magic. And so I'm gonna be one of those people that say, mind your business. However they make it work, they make it work, and they definitely showed up and showed out this past weekend. So definitely shout out to those young men, you know, um, and definitely shout out to all the teams that travel to Virginia Beach to support EF. And I heard a lot, I saw a lot of the reviews, and it was phenomenal. And that's what you want. You want people to, and like I said, it's not my horn to toot, but you got to get that brother's props, man. Like he's one of the ones that bring a lot of spirit, a lot of energy, and a lot of passion to this youth football movement by way of live streaming, by way of, he does his show. I don't know if it's Monday, Tuesday. I always catch it on the rebound because normally I'm in the bed by now, unless I'm on live tonight. Uh, And so definitely get that brother his flowers, man. Like I said earlier, and guess what? Ding, 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 the witching hour. And so good evening, Bravos in the building. We here, we live, man. First, let me see something. Let me tell you something. My shirt. This is Barbara and Chop, twins. Was hey Mr. Maris. Good evening. And so I got this shirt from Rue and Mr. Maris a couple years ago, and I couldn't fit it. It's still a little snug. But I could not fit it, and I lost a few pounds. And I put on a shirt that I had bought and I couldn't fit, and so the other day I put on that shirt and could wear it. And I said, man, I'm going on my right, because that shirt used to be back there on that. Shame on me, but that shirt used to be back there. And I said, I'm gonna wear this shirt tonight. It's only fitting. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, shout out to that family, shout out to those young men. But man, let me tell you something, man. It's been a great week for Bravo. It's been a great week for the Bravster, because one thing about it, I always say this: let me tell you something. I love seeing these kids progress. I believe this 100% that when we look at I looked at Commanders last night, and college football in a couple of weeks, high school football in a couple of weeks. But understand this: you're looking at amongst your kids peers, amongst your kids colleagues, amongst the kids that you coach, the kids that you watch, the kids that you support. A lot of those kids are going to go, and they're going to be on that big screen. Might not be my kid, but let me tell you what God loves, and this is the truth. I'm rooting for every kid that's in this area to go on and be successful and chase their dreams. Because here's the beautiful thing about this, man. I lived 54 years, and I've had some great success using these right here, using these. And every day wasn't a great day. Let me tell you something. I worked my fingers to the bone. I worked long hours. I dealt with some bull job people in a restaurant on both sides. People that were standing here with me and people that were standing there. I dealt with people who thought they were undermining my intelligence. They were undermining my leadership. But guess what? One thing about this, knowledge. One thing I know about knowledge, you can't take away from me. You ain't got to acknowledge it. But I promise you this, and I used to tell anybody, whether he was superior, a subordinate, or a colleague, I know what I know, and I stand on it. I know what I know, and I stand on it. And that's one thing, that you ain't got to follow me. You ain't got to believe in me. But one thing about it, what I know, I stand on it, and I follow that. That's my driving force. That's my spirit, is what the knowledge I know. And as I talk about these young men and women, these kids, these athletes, let me tell you something. The things that we teach them, they're going to take it in life. I promise you that. The things that we hold value, and naturally, we're going to, unfortunately, pass some bad stuff on to them. Unfortunately. I just hope and pray, and you just hope and pray, that the bad stuff that you pass on to them, no matter what it is, it's not going to be the defining factor of who they are. And if they escape that, then what a wonderful life. But I looked at this Jalen Daniels last night, Jaden Daniels, whatever his name is, and I should know his name because he's the quarterback of the team I like. But I looked at him last night, and I know some of the story when he was at I forget, because that's difficult to tell you. But he was he was in locker room. I think it was wherever. Y'all might know better than me. And they doubted him. Teammates doubted him. Here's the thing: is this, and this is what you got to prepare your kids for too. I tell my son this: as you progress in life, people gonna be in competition with you. Some people they're gonna be outright and overt with it. Some people they're gonna let you know I'm in competition with you. And some people are going to be worse than the snakes in the grass, and they're going to be competing with you, backbiting you, undermining you, and you don't even know it. And that's why I always say, encourage these kids to understand this, that the path that we want them to be on, the path that they set on, and the path to greatness is a lonely path. It is one of the loneliest treks. Think about Moses going on the mountain, right? Think about it. He went by himself. He didn't take a companion. He didn't take a wife, a friend, a bodyguard. He had to make that trek by himself. Think about all the times when you had to make decisions, life decisions, by yourself. Because at the end of the day, it affected you and those amongst you. And I tell my son that the path you're on, I don't care how many friends you got, boys, girls, whatever, I don't care. That the path you're on is a solo path. Because think about this, and this is where I hear people say, man, my child is not selfish. Let me tell you what this does since your child is not selfish. Keep on being giving to somebody, and you're going to miss out on your opportunity. Keep on being a kid. Like, like one of the things that my son learned since he's been in high school, and I told him this, but let me tell you something about kids, right? My son, your daughter, my daughter, whatever. Well, I don't have a daughter. But think about this, right? Think of all the things we tell our kids. I tell Landon, you got to do more push. You got to do push-ups till you can't do it, till your arms bend. He looked at me like, why you not doing it? Because I'm 54, I'm old, I'm out of shape, and I am not trying to play not one down of football or run up and down the court, not one goddamn jump ball in basketball or whatever. So at the end of the day, at this point, I should be doing some for health reasons. But if you want to be an optimal athlete, you should be doing them. And guess what? Always, always try to take paths because he felt like, I don't know, maybe he felt like his athleticism trumped working out and so forth. But it took his coach to tell him, look, two things I told him. I said, man, you need to drink the protein shakes, the muscle milk and all that stuff. I don't like it. Okay, one thing about it. When I was a kid, we used to drink castor oil to make you feel better, right? When you had stomach aches and all that stuff. Guess what? You didn't like it. But guess what? It made you feel better. And it did its job. So me telling him that went right over his head. Guess what? Because here's the thing is, you see the old dad. See, I was 39 when I had Landon. Almost 40. Turned 46 6 months later. Right? So you see the old dad. You didn't see the young dad that when I was your age, I would have beat you up. See, if me and Landon grew up together, I'd beat him up. See, you didn't see that dad that was young, full of energy and vibrant, that was just as fast as you, that was just as vibrant as you, full of life as you. You didn't see that dad. You see the old dad with the gray beard and done lost a step or two or three, and it's okay. So when dad tell you these things, guess what? In your mind, dad don't know what he's talking about. But then it took the coach to say, hey, you need to drink some protein shakes, muscle milk, all that stuff, and you need to do more push-ups if you're doing them. And definitely hit the weight room. And so I say that not to shame my son, but I say that to say, understand this. And this is what you got to illustrate to your kids. If not, let me tell you something. I believe this beyond a shadow that my son loves me, and he's going to follow my lead and things I say. But some things in his mind, it just don't register. Because you don't see dad, the athlete. You see dad, the guy that gets up and go to work every day, and that's fine. Okay? So when the coach tell you the coach is young and fit, and the coach is leading the team, and it registers, and that's fine. Because I always say that sometimes lessons these kids gonna learn, either gonna learn them from your experience, or they're gonna learn them the hard way. And it's just simple as that. And I try to always say this, that I'm telling you stuff, son, so don't nobody else have to tell you. But guess what? Sometimes it takes somebody else to tell you, and then hopefully, they don't tell you where it hurt your feelings. But guess what? If it do, then it do. However fall, it fall. However hit the wall, it hit the wall. And that's just as simple as that. Because one thing about it, I didn't get to be this goddamn old and gray and being dumb. Shout out to all the kids, man. I know my man Durant Perez made the middle school team, and one of my other little youngins, I don't know if I'm able to say it out loud, but my main man, little youngin, I've been following for a couple of years. His mom told me that he made the middle school team, and shout out to all those kids, man. And I'm gonna say this, and I believe this 100%. What these kids do, and I'm hard on coaches. I'm hard on coaches because at some point, a lot of coaches have betrayed me just the utter selfness of of the game. And what I mean by that is, everybody has their reasoning. When I do interviews with coaches, I ask myself, tell me what's your why? What's your why? And everybody say the kids, and at the end of the day, you got to take it for face value. But a lot of people have hidden agendas. We know it, you know it, I know it, and it's not my place to say, you full of trash. But at the end of the day, your body of work, just like a song. You listen to a Stevie Wonder song, and you say, man, he created that thing. He put that thing into motion. And some of this music today, you say that joker was on a 3-day binge high as a kite, and whatever he was thinking, he just put it into action, put it into words. And that's what it is, and that's how it is. And so, if I finish y'all about talking about y'all heroes in the rap and the music world, so what, But I think a lot of coaches, their work is manifested in a lot of these kids, because then I say this and I mean this, and I've seen this, the work ethic that a lot of you all are instilling these kids, and the knowledge that you give to these kids, they will take it to middle school, and they will take it to high school, and they will be successful. And they will be successful, and I believe that 199%. Because one of the things is this too. People always talk about whether, if a person has a team full of talent, or a person has a team full of kids that's coachable, who's going to be more successful. And I mean, I think it's a matter of the coach, because here's the thing about talent. Like, we know one thing about it, with talent comes egos. And, it's one of those things that I've always said this. I got a big ego. I would never say I don't. And what I mean by I got a big ego, when I felt like my son deserved public praise, I give it to him and gave it to him. We'll continue to give it to him. I don't need you to clap for him, because 9 times out of 10, people won't clap for him. They won't wish him well. They won't wish him success. It's okay, But the one thing about it, I'm going to clap the loudest. The missus is going to clap the loudest, because he belongs to us. And when I say, I didn't say belong, I said he belongs to us, meaning he's us. That's mine. And the one thing that if I don't do nothing else, I got to encourage him. See, I always said it, and I say it week after week, and I continue to say it. You'll see the public praise. Every now and then you'll see the foot in the ass in public. If I have to address it real time. But the private conversations are the conversations that's going to hopefully motivate you, that's going to lift you up, that's going to drive you, and it's going to make you self-reflect. Because, see, here's the thing of this. No matter what Dean says, no matter what Coach Benson says, no matter what Coach Joe used to say, Coach Lawrence used to say, until it clicks in his mind, until it makes sense to him, it's not going to work. That's with anything, And it's one of those things I think about when I was a kid, and maybe the kids don't read this no more because they're too busy putting all kind of other junk in the school system, teaching these kids. That's a whole different ball game. But the one thing that I remember well, the story, the little engine that could. I said, man, what are you talking about a nursery rhyme? Because that was one of those books that we read, first grade, second grade, whatever. I don't remember the timeline. But think about the message. The little angel went from I think I can to I can. And that's what we got to embed in our kids. That when you think you can, make it so you can. Make it so you know you can. Make it so that at the end of the day, it leaves no doubt. Not to this person, not to that person, but to yourself. To yourself. The one thing I like that, and definitely shout out to all the young men. Let me tell you something, man. So, a lot of the young men go back to school this week, and I know that Fredericksburg and Stafford County went to school last week, and definitely shout out to those young athletes. I hit Derek Blackie up, right, and his son is one of the quarterbacks for River Bend, right, and I think he's going to be one of the quarterbacks for the varsity team, and more than likely the starting quarterback for the JV team. But I told him, I said, man, I said, you know, don't try landing, laughing out loud. But here's the thing is this, you know, when you see like Devo, when you see him at 8, 9, and 10, it don't register that in 5 years this kid gonna be standing 6 foot tall. This kid's gonna be, he was good at 8, 9, and 10, but he's even better at 13, and it doesn't translate. And so it's one of those things where when you see these kids at these young ages and they mature in life and they mature in the game, and you're going to see them, like I said earlier, a lot of these kids we're going to see on Friday nights. Absolutely, that's without a doubt. A lot of these kids we're going to see on Saturday afternoons. I'm talking about youth football. I'm talking about college football. And even and people always say, man, there's only so many people that make it to the NFL. So what? Who said that these kids won't make it? Who said these kids are not going to be part of that ever whatever that percent is? I don't even think about it, because at the end of the conversation, guess what? If it's 5%, 2%, 3%, who's to say that the 2% not going to come from here? I'm not talking about mine. I'm just talking about this area in general. All the kids that we've seen play over the years, whether it's West Virginia, Maryland, D.C., or Virginia, North Carolina, whatnot. Think about all the kids that you've seen. And the only thing that these kids got to do is stay focused and stay the course. Because now, the one thing that I know this, I always say this, and I believe this, that, my son went to a public private school. And what I mean is they had to wear uniform, you had to write an essay and get in a lottery to get in, man. And it was one of the top schools in the area, right? I forget the rating that they give schools that let you know they top flight. But you know, he was like in a fishbowl. Yesterday was his first day in a big school, like Forest Park, and for no other reason, he's a fish. Whether it's a little fish or a medium-sized fish, but at this point, definitely not a big fish. And now he went from the pond to the ocean. And like I said before, the shark got ocean in it. The ocean has sharks in it. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm saying that now you're exposed to a lot of things that you've never been exposed to. And now here's where the focus comes. Now here's where the values that we instill in them come. Now here's where, he got to say, you know what? That my main goal is to get the best grades can get, that I know I'm capable of getting, and be the best athlete I can get. Because let me say this, the goal is for him, football in the winter, in the fall, basketball in the winter, and track in the spring. As simple as that. That you're going to stay in somebody's locker room. You're going to stay on somebody's roster. Like I said, I can determine whether or not you're going to get picked for the basketball team, but I can determine whether or not you're going to try out. And what you do with that tryout is going to be on you. But I can determine that. And if you happen to get cut from the basketball team, guess what? You're going to play AAU basketball because you want to play that anyway. So God willing, you'll play both. You'll play for the school, and you'll play maximum effort. And the same thing with track. I don't know if they do, trials, but if it's trials and you don't happen to make it for that, guess what? You'll be with Dale City Track this year. Because now, I'm at the point now where the conversations can't be fair. And what I mean by the conversations can't be fair, because these are crucial years. Every year is crucial, but 9th through 12th, 9th through 11th, really, you got to make your mark by the 10th, 11th grade year. You have to, as an athlete, chasing a scholarship, you have to make your mark by the late sophomore, junior year. Yeah, you can play catch up senior year, but keep this in mind. Look at all these kids that's going to college, D1, whatever. They're getting looked at. They're getting offered 10th and 11th grade year. And if that's your goal, if that's what you chasing, which I'm chasing that for my child, then they have to buckle down going into that 9th grade year. They have to buckle down and Let me tell you something. My son taking hard classes, AP class, whatever. You know, I'll be whatever those classes are. They go to show you smarter than dad because I don't know the class. But I promise you this, that you're not gonna falter because I'll take everything away from him in this house to make sure that you devote every piece of minute that you can to your studies. See, the good thing about it is right now, but this is like right now, through football season, get out of school, they go to study hall for an hour and a half. You can jerk off if you want to. See, one thing about parent view tells on you. Thank you. Parent view tells on you. So I look at parent view, if not every day, every other day. Because I promise you this, I won't get a phone call and not be in the know because you say, Mr. Lansing Landon, I saw Mrs. Such and Such, and definitely we're going to fix that. See, because now it's kind of like this. You're in the home stretch, buddy. You're in the home stretch, and if you falter now, I don't even know if there's any recovery. Think about college football, right? College football rankings out, I think, a buddy, um, that worked with me. He's a Penn State fan. I think Penn State is number 2, right? Think about this. Think about this. You lose a game in that top 10, you might get out of it and might can't make it back. Simple as that. And that's what I think about when I think about my son in this going into the 9th grade. Now you're in the top 10. You can't falter because you might not make it back. You see what I'm saying? Your transcript got to be impeccable. You know, community service, all that stuff. Let me tell you something. I'm not on no fake stuff, but you got to put your best foot forward. You got to put your best foot forward. Let me tell you, this is my perspective. You got a lifetime to go out there and party. You got a lifetime to go out there and chase girls. You got a lifetime to go out there and I don't know if it's called living life, but trust me, you have a lifetime of it. But you ain't got but so many years, right? To how can I say it? To align yourself, and put yourself in a situation that you're going to start out your adulthood successfully. You ain't got but at this point in your last 4 years, and you can't take for granted. So definitely, shout out to all those young men that's going to the St. James with Coach Darrell. They're looking sharp. Um, Shout out to all those that's going to St. Michael out there in Fredericksburg, Pre and Aiden and Aiden Fulton, Pre Anderson. I even saw my man. What's my man name? What's Alex's son name? Cade. Saw Cade. Going there. And that's a good look. Let me tell you something. I would love to land to St. Michael, but it's out of my reach. And what I mean by that is I work north, that's south. There's no way possible. Can't do it, couldn't do it. But I would love to have had him there. I would love to have had him at the St. John's. And one thing about it, I think in the end, God puts you where you need to be. He's at Forest Park. Got a great young coach and Coach Benson, young coaching staff. And when I say young, I don't mean inexperienced. I just mean younger than me. And with them being younger than me, I think he's in good hands. As a matter of fact, I know he's in great hands. I know he's going to be with gentlemen that's going to bring the best out of him. And what he does with that is on him. What he does with that is on him. But I really believe that the men that he's under their leadership, they're going to bring the best out of him. Because keep this in mind. Keep this in mind, right? Think about it. Nobody wants to lose. We can say whatever we want to say. Nobody wants to lose. So in not wanting to lose, you're going to put your best product on the block. Simple as that. You're going to put your best players on the field. You're going to put your best ingenuity in thinking into developing them kids. And you're going to try your best and then some to create a monster. And I'm not talking about just players, I'm talking about a team. So, you know, y'all can miss me with that, man. Nobility at this level wins is what talks. And no, it ain't going to define the big picture. But let me tell you something. You know, you know, a lot of coaches out there, right? That's going to falter. High school, youth football. Let me tell you something. You know, the next couple of weeks, guess what? I'm gonna in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna be tearing jokers up because you're gonna be in action. See, you know, right now, me personally, I give you a pass because, like I said, preseason is one of those things where if you walk away from the game with an elbow, you can fix it. Come October, come September, October, November, guess what? It counts. It counts. And the bounce back is more difficult. See, so if you don't fix what's broke between now and November, then, you know, let me tell you something. You need to start your season. Bunk what the rules and regulations say. If you're not able to fix what's broke between now and playoffs time, then what you need to do, you need to start a month or so earlier. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Let me tell you something. Sometimes you need to engage the family. Sometimes the families need to understand. This is what our mission statement is, because sometimes parents don't understand the mission statement. Sometimes parents don't understand, you know, the goals. Like I've always said, man, let me know. Don't put me on the highway. Don't put me on. Have me buying hotel rooms in the blind. Let me know, and we'll be there. All you gotta do is let me know. So, you know, here's the thing with this is, you know, like I said, come November, some of y'all gonna be snatched. You know, I laughed and joked last week. I bought a lot of the hey, Mr. Meek, how you doing? Good evening, how you doing? Good to see you, man. You know, come the fall, some of y'all gonna be making plans to go to Florida, and some of y'all gonna be making plans to get the equipment shed cleaned out and shaped up for the return of the equipment. And it's a matter of what you want. It's a matter of what your goal is. But I always say this: what you put in it is what you're gonna get out of it. So when you put the least work in it, don't get mad at the kids when they get the least productivity. When you put the least, you know, the thing what it is if you're not pushing these kids, let me tell you something. You know, people used to always, you know, people get in this uproar about how people talk to the kids. Let me tell you something. One thing, I'm pretty sure all of y'all kids have heard y'all say some of the most foulest, worst things. Sometimes the kids hear parents say the worst things about their son. Now, where is he at, Miss Tamika? Is he with Dale City, or did you take him somewhere else? You know, and here's the beautiful thing, Mr. Tamika. But I'm gonna get back to that. You know, so some of these kids done heard y'all say some of the violent things, and then you get mad at the coach. Let me tell you something. There's a difference between cursing in the spirit of the moment in the game, and the difference between cursing and demeaning and dehumanizing a person. You know the difference. I know the difference. And I'm one of those people that if you curse at my son, like, damn, Landon, what the fuck did you do just now? That's all. You know, I'm okay with it. Wife not be okay with it, but I'm okay with it. But if you're talking to Landon like, you stupid fucker, what the you dumbass nick, bop bop bop. See, now you're being disrespectful, and that ain't gonna fly. Because at the end of the day, I always believe this, and I stand on this. If you don't like him, if you feel like, you know, if he brings that much anger out of you where you got to demean him to feel better about the situation, then you don't need him on the team. He don't need to be on your team. And that's not, I'm saying it. Like, I always have said this for all the years I was in the restaurant business. And I always said this, and I always told my staff this. You walk through the door with dignity, and you're going to leave with dignity. Meaning ain't nobody going to come in here cursing about nothing. If we made a mistake, guess what? We can fix it. If we did something wrong, we can fix it. But if we made you that goddamn man, take your money and get your ass the fuck out. Go wherever the fuck you want to go. Because you're not going to talk to me or my staff like that. Know who the fuck you think you are. And I've had plenty of those conversations. Because like I said, we're not gonna never be verbal punching bags. So there's a difference. You know it and I know it. But Mr. Mega, sometimes you got to pull back. Let me tell you something. It's always got to be. I don't care. And you know this like I know this. I don't make it. I don't got to give a person an excuse for the moves I make for my son. I don't got to give you an answer, an excuse, whatever moves I make. And sometimes you got to back out this travel thing because sometimes it's too much. And sometimes it's not a good fit. It always has to be a good fit. It always has to be a good fit for yourself, your family, and the child. As simple as that. No matter what it is. If it's a good fit for you, if it's a good fit for the child, then take them to Timbuktu to play. But I always said this, right? You know, um, one of the things when I came to travel ball, I always knew this, right? It still had to be convenient. Like it's because at the end of the day, guess what? Me and Miss Bravo, we still got to put food on the table, and so we couldn't be, Now she got a lot more leave than me, but Bravo won't be going in the red with leave traveling for football. You know, and we was not the type of people that we felt like we were just going to send him off, and that was just our choice. But we it was one of those things that was hard to say, man, I'm gonna send you. We can't make it, but I'm gonna send you. So we always try to go, no matter where it was, no matter when it was. One of us or both of us always try to make it our business to go, not just for the support thing, but here's the thing: is he's a child, so he needs the protection of his mom and his dad. Because I'm a firm believer of this. I don't care the best intentions, the best laid out plans sometimes have fault. Nobody's gonna protect you like your mama. Nobody's gonna protect you like your daddy. So, and that's not never gonna be saying nothing against the great people that we were a part of in this. Because I look at it like this: that if I was gonna trust Lane with anybody, it would be marrying Joe. But I always felt like I could trust him with me better. And that's just the way the ball bounced. And so now that's what's up, Mr. Meek. And I hope we have a great year. Because the thing with this, and I say this, and I say this to any parent, when travel ball does get too much, then just my advice, sincere advice, find a local team that doesn't have such a rigorous schedule. Because I always believe this: don't let these kids sit out. Don't let these kids sit out a year. Don't let them, find something where they can be engaged. Do not let these kids sit out for a year. Because it's easy to sit out, and then in sitting out, they start second guessing themselves. They start self-doubting, and then they lose motivation to start back up. Think about this. We take a week, 10 days, 9 days off work, right? Go on vacation. How hard is that first day back? And the only reason we go back that first day, some of y'all find a reason to call out before you go back. I got sick on the vacation. That actually happened to me. I went on honeymoon, came back from Mexico, was sick as a dog for about 10 days. When they say don't drink the water, Lord, they meant it. And I came home, and my wife can tell you, less than got daggone 20 days married, I was sick as a dog when we came back from got daggone Puerto Vallarta. The worst. Stayed sick. She was sick for about 2, 3. And I was on death's bed. Goodness sake, you know. And so, but, think about that. You go on vacation, you come back, and you don't want to go back that first day. So think about a child taking off from sports for a year, right? Think about that. They sit out a year. How difficult do you think it's going to be for them to go back? It's going to be very difficult. Because along the way of that year taking off, they picked up something else, a hobby, whether it was gaming, whether it was bowling, whether it was just hanging out with their friends. Sometimes, man, the easiest thing to do is the kids gravitate to it. So, they're hanging out with the friends, and it's easier. Not doing nothing is easier than putting in work, ain't it? Not being active, not being held accountable. Let me tell you something. It's easier than all that hard work, than all that yelling, and all that fussing, than all that being on time, and all that people expecting you to do something. It's easy, you know. So shout out to you, Mr. Mika, definitely. And you know, keep in mind, Bravo Awards coming up soon. Matter of fact, I'm gonna post it tonight. I said it last week, boy, and I got off this live and I went to bed. And now that my son has a different schedule, he's getting up at 5:40 at the latest. He cannot get up later than 5:40 because he got to get his butt cleaned up and dressed and down here to that bus stop by 6:18. And 6:18 comes fast in the morning. Trust and believe it. Now Bravo used to being up that time, you know, so it don't bother me. But for somebody that's never been up that early for anything, and now, because you figure like this, even if we were traveling in the morning, and I say we're gonna leave the house at 6, we get in the car, you go sleep, sleep half of the day, wake up, we wherever we, or even halfway where we're going or whatever. But now he got to get up. He got to face the world in class by what, 7:15, 7:20, right? After catching the bus at 6:18, yeah, you got to catch the bus. He ain't driving. And my wife drives right by school every day, and I told her, don't drop him off. Not because nothing else. You know, experience that. He's never. Yeah, well, you know what? I take that back. He did. He rode the bus last year. Last 2 years, I think. Matter of fact, we used to drop him off before. But think about that. And then he get off of school, hour and a half, study hall with his team, and then 2 hours of practice. Jesus. So he ain't getting back home about 6:30, right? Long day. Haven't had days that long. This weekend he got practice on Saturday, I think, or whatever. But he'll be doing basketball on Saturdays, getting ready for the basketball season. So let me tell you something. Active. Can't let you take a year off, because if you take a year off, you might not recover. You might not rebound. We can't have that, because the three expectations I'm going to get off this live, the three things I expect from my son, and I hold fast to it. You're going to be a good student. Matter of fact, you're going to excel in the classroom. That's my expectation. See, the same way you asked me for them tennis. What's up, Nika? What's going on, big dog? What's going on? Good evening, good evening. What's up, Quinn Keith? What's happening, boy? Y'all slid in on Bravo. Y'all slid in on Bravo. But he got three things, and I don't waver on them. You're going to be a good student. You're going to excel in the classroom. You're going to be respectful to that teacher, and you're going to excel in the classroom. And you're going to play sports. Let me tell you something. I don't care if you sit the bench. Like I told, I take great pleasure in paying the $10 to get in them games and watch you sit on the bench. If you don't give those coaches what they need from you, and you are sitting on the bench, I'll take great pleasure every week coming in and watch you sit on the bench. You do realize that, and I have no problem with it. And you're gonna be a good kid. You're gonna be a good kid. You're gonna be a model citizen. That's my expectation. Let me tell you something. I'm the law in this house. The law. I'm the judge in this house. Gavel stronger than Judge Judy. But I'm also the treasurer in this son of God. So the same way when you ask me for them Air Jordans and this, and, you know, essential sweatsuits and all that stuff, boy, and you cringe at that daggone price tag, right? Guess what? The same way you ask me for that, and you have expectation of me getting it for you, the same way I ask you for those three things, and I have expectations for you to come through. And when you don't hold up your end of the bargain, see, here's the thing is, you're going to have consequences on top of consequences on top of consequences, because I have no problem with going in that room, taking everything out of the room except the bed. What they do to prisoners when they want to punish them? They put them in a room with nothing but a bed. What they do to prisoners? Think about it. They take a prisoner, they put them in a room with no TV, no radio, barely enough light to see, and a bed. And I have no problem with going there and gutting it out. Only thing gonna be in there your clothes and your gut daggone bed. And I'll take every piece of appliance out there. And see, I might be one of those people. I've never had to do it, but I might throw it away, because once I throw it away, you ain't gonna never get it back. Once I put it in the trash, you ain't gonna never get it back. Try me. So I'm the judge, I'm the law, the treasurer finance. I'm all that rolled up into one. Because see, keep this in mind. My son's not my friend. He's not my pal. He's not my bruh. You know, you're not equal to me. Unfortunately, son, even when you're a man, you're not gonna be equal to me. You'll be another man, but you're not gonna be equal to me. I was never equal to my father. My father left this earth at 79 years old. I was never equal to my father. And what I mean by that is this: that my father's seen things, he's traveled through life. My father's been through some things that I couldn't even imagine. Because you see, my father grew up in the South. He grew up in the South in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and I don't have to say nothing else. He grew up in the South, so you can imagine some of the things he's seen, heard, and went through. You can imagine. So I was never equal to my dad, and my son will never be equal to me. He'll be another man, and he might surpass me in knowledge. He might surpass me in world travel and riches, all that. But his wisdom will never equal to mine in this earth while I'm on this earth. Because you do realize that it'll be one day, and I don't look forward to that day that I will probably forget more than he knows at that time. I promise you that. That I'm pretty sure that before my dad left this earth, he probably forgot more than I knew at that time in his life. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate y'all, man. Let me tell you something. Got to go make the donuts. 5 o'clock commercial, bravo. I thank y'all. I look forward to another Coach Berlin, Dayville's finest. What you doing, brother? What's happening? Hope everything is well with you. Let me tell you something. Like I say, we from Dayville. We can imagine what our parents and grandparents and great grandparents went through in the South. But guess what? They were strong, proud people. I know that. And they gave us that. They gave us that ability to fight through and persevere. Let me tell you something, and I can't speak for nobody. What's going on, Rue? What's going on? I can't speak for nobody. I can speak for the people I know that I grew up with in Jayville, that I know from Jayville. Let me tell you something. Strong, proud people. Fearless. You know, fearless. They wonder what Bravo's so crazy. And that's why. But anyway, man, I bid y'all a good night. Look for, like I said, I'm back. Yeah, already. Well, you see what I got on. I done lost a few pounds. I'm still kind of snug around the arms and stuff. But look, one thing about it, I used to come put this thing on, boy. I put this thing on before that thing hit me about right here. Couldn't even pull it down, boy. I done lost quite a few pounds. I still got a few more to go. But I'm able to wear this old thing now, boy. This is the first time. Believe this. This is the first time since I've had this shirt that I've been able to wear it. This is the first time. And I said I had to wear it tonight. I said I had to wear it. But anyway, man, I thank y'all for coming on. And I look forward to the season. As the season ramps up, I'll be talking more and more about the happiness and the kids out there, because that's my goal, to talk about the kids. Definitely going to talk about my son and the class of 2029 as well. As I get the feedback, as I get the stuff. Definitely going to go out there. I'm going to pop out there a couple of Saturdays and check out St. Michael's out there with Pre and all those young men. Only because I'm being nosy. Nah, Pre my man. Pre my man. And so, definitely love seeing his kids, his youngest, Demir. Still in travel football. Demir might be 8, 9. I forget. Because I forget my son's age. And definitely, Lil Pre is class of 2029. So definitely looking forward to seeing that young man shine. He's like a little grown man. And when I say little grown man, they little boys to me. I don't give a daggone how big they are. I don't give a daggone how old. They are always going to be little boys. So they turn 18, they'll be grown men, but they still be young men to me. And so when you hear me say little grown man, because I remember when they was babies. And I don't mean babies, but I remember they were 8, 9 babies, 8, 9-year-olds. Now they standing just tall as their fathers, definitely taller than their mothers. Little muscles, you know, voice unchanged. Some hormones on jumped in. They got little mustache and beards and whatnot. Couple of years, man, they're gonna be driving. Couple of years, they're gonna be heading off to college. Jesus, time is a thief. But thank y'all for tonight. Shout out to all those folks, like I said, that went out there to EF, and for those that got beat. You know, it's a learning. It's right now. We can really say it's a learning process. You know, it's a learning curve. Month and a half from now, you got your ass toe. You got your ass toe. You got the elbow upside the head, and we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it, and some of y'all gonna be mad. Some of y'all gonna say "F you, Bravo," and I'm gonna say "F you back." Promise you that. I return the favor. So we look forward to that, and you know, definitely look forward to seeing. And so I was saying to Miss Tamika, definitely, you know, Bravo Wars is still gonna be live and jumping. I don't care if a kid play rec ball, um, or travel. If a kid doing his thing, guess what? He's eligible for the Bravo Awards. I don't need the numbers, but I want to recognize the kids if they're doing their thing. If they're good kids and they're performing in the classroom and on the field, absolutely. Say the date. So with that being said, we will see you Freestyle Friday as I navigate my way to work. But in the meantime, between time, uh, um we got a scrimmage Forest Park. Got a scrimmage against Mountain View. I believe it's in Mountain View. Our staff, if you're not doing nothing, come on, pop out. I would love to go live, but now we're in a different category, so I don't want to put our plays and stuff out there, just out of the fact of, like I said, eyes are watching. So, you know, definitely, I'm pretty sure that they exchange film, but you won't get it from me. Put it like that. You will not get it from Bravo. So it's a whole different ballgame. And trust me, I could go live, but that's one of the things I'm not gonna put the team in any harm's way as far as folks being able to game plan against them from the footage they get from me. So, but if you want to pop out, come on, pop out and show love and support. And if you and I'll talk about it next week. I will talk about it. So with that, I bid y'all a good night. Have a great week. And to all your kids that's out there playing travel football and travel sports, man, much success, man. Keep this in mind, man. Sometimes you can motivate them, but sometimes you got to command them. And if anybody tells you they don't, I'm not gonna make my kid do something, say okay, that's your call, that's your choice. And sometimes in life, I got to make my son do something, and I have no compassion or compunction about it. Sometimes in life, I have to make my son do something, and I will, and I promise you that. Because one day he'll be a man, and everything I said, a lot is going to race it to him. Right now, maybe it's not clicking. Guess what? I'm okay with it. But every now and then, I got to make him do something, and I will. So when you meet those people that say, man, I'm not going to make him do something, okay, well, this is what you think about. Forget today. How's that going to translate 10 years from now? Because, see, keep this in mind. Society ain't going to make you do nothing you don't want to do. But there's consequences for your choices and your actions. Y'all have a good night.